True Crime Society podcast contains adult themes and violence and is not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. And if you'd like to skip the intro or move to any specific part of the podcast, please refer to the timestamps listed in the episode description. Thank you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the True Crime Society podcast with Stephanie and Olivia. It is September 19th again. Like we mentioned, we recorded 2 episodes.
Groundhog Day.
Today. Yeah, it feels like it. I feel like I'm just reliving the same thing over and over again. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so it is the 19th right now. We actually didn't do any chat in the last episode about Asia because it was a big episode. It was pretty long. So we figured we'd get right to it. I guess I could tell you guys about now, even though this will probably be 2 weeks ago now. This weekend, I'm going to New Hampshire for the first time, but not really to do anything too exciting. I'm going because my sister and her husband are both in a wedding. So since their baby is still very young, me and Mike are going up with them to watch the baby while they have to do all the wedding stuff. So it'll be my first time watching a baby on my own. So I'm a little excited because, you know, he's very cute and fun and I'm interested. He was born literally the last day of April. So April, May, June, July, August, September, like 5 months.
Wow.
5 months. So yeah, I've never watched a baby before, but I went over and got a crash course about the burping and the diapering and the wiping and the spitting up. And my sister said that even when he spits up, you're never in the clear because he's gonna spit up again. So I'm excited. It'll be a learning experience for sure, but I'm happy to help my sister out so she can go be in this wedding.
I feel like it's always a bit easier too when you know you can give the child back. Like you don't, you're like if you had to do it for a week or a longer period of time, you're like, gosh, I'm so tired, but in a day you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's why like people are like, oh, are you ready to watch the baby? Because I've all my life I've long conned everyone into being like, I hate babies, I hate children, I don't like them. So everyone's always assumed like she'll never have kids. So they all have left me alone about it. So it's not the constant being like, oh, so when are you gonna have kids? But I still like babies, but people are like, oh, are you nervous? Are you looking forward to it? But I'll be okay because I'm like, even if he cries a lot and it's hard, it's basically one day.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
And I'm also not an idiot,
yeah.
so
yeah, you're not fatigued either. Not like sometimes when the kids are little, it's just so hard because you know it's ongoing. But whereas you hopefully won't be child fatigued, you'll be able to get through the day and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and the wedding, like the venue, it's literally like 2 minutes away from where we're staying. So if there is an emergency or something, they're very close by. So
that's good.
Yeah,
be fun, a little adventure.
Yeah, so I have to watch the baby. I'm just saying the baby because I don't know if she wants me to put his name out there. Watching him on Sunday, so we're gonna go up Saturday. So I'll still have like Saturday night to maybe explore the area a little bit because I've never been to New Hampshire. So we'll see. What's going on with you?
I have book club tonight. It feels like it's been a while. I feel like because we do it every month, but sometimes you do it at the start of one month and then the end of the other month. So it's almost like a 2-month gap. But the book we have read this month, which I'll mention it's called The Wife Drought by Annabelle Crabb. And like the tagline for it is why women need wives and men need lives.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah. So it sounds very feminist and it is, but basically it's not a fiction book, obviously. It's like a book of statistics. I wouldn't even say it's a self-help book, but it's basically an informational book about how much work women do even if they work full-time and like basically the differences between men and women and their working lives. So it's interesting. It's like I wouldn't say it's the best book I've ever read, but if you're interested in that type of information and statistics, it is an Australian book too, so it obviously focuses on Australian statistics and things like that. But it was an interesting read. And just the differences between how men and women operate, which we all know anyway, but just an interesting read, and to know that you're not alone in some things is handy.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand that because
Yeah.
women run the world.
Basically. Like I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but basically it's something like well, no, don't worry, I can't even be bothered to summarize it. Just take that bit out because I'll get it wrong. But yeah, other than that, not too much happening. Beautiful sunny weather here. We are off to my daughter's dance comp next Thursday. It's Friday here now, so next Thursday we're off to a dance comp, and then we're going up to Queensland to have a little holiday after that. So that will be nice. Spring break, hopefully nice weather. The weather is looking promising, so I'm hoping it stays that way. Just be nice to get some sunshine.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so for today's episode, we're going to talk about kind of like a different topic.
I do love a theme.
We
That's my
love a
favourite.
theme.
We've got Deadly Dads, Mums Who Murder. Someone even suggested when we did the neighbour episode recently, we should call it Nasty Neighbours.
The poisonings was also a theme, but we couldn't really think of a clever name that wasn't like insensitive or offensive.
Yeah.
So we just kept it as poisonings. But today we're going to be talking about some cases of people who went missing at sea or allegedly went missing at sea, were last seen at sea, because it's very strange. And I feel like you do hear of cases where the murderers, like, oh, they got lost in the ocean, or even we were at scuba diving, and wasn't that a big one where this couple was scuba diving? And
I feel like I'm just trying to remember, but they were Americans who were on their honeymoon in Australia, and basically I feel like the insinuation was that the husband murdered the wife by like basically unplugging her while they were scuba diving.
Like tampered, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's convenient to blame the ocean, but also not convenient because you're like, there's no way that that's what happened. But so yeah, they're two strange cases, and the first one we are going to talk about a woman named Abigail Bernstein and her two young sons. They were last seen on a boat in Oahu, Hawaii. So they're last seen in the boat, but the boat's captain and the boat came back and they weren't on it, and they haven't been seen since. So that is mysterious. The second one that we're going to talk about is about a woman named Sarm Heslop. She was last seen by her boyfriend on their boat as well, and she remains missing, and it's been over 4 years later now. So what could have happened to them?
A family has gone missing, and now the FBI wants your help. Today, the FBI held a press conference alerting the public of a mother and her two sons missing since October of 2022. According to local agents, the mother, Abigail Bernstein, lived a nomadic life and was seen boarding a boat for what was supposed to be a year-long trip with a man she met online. Agents further said the boys were not enrolled in school, and she cut off contact with her family and cut her cell phone service prior to departure.
We have an interest in protecting them and are working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the Missing Child Center of Hawaii in locating them and ensuring their safety. While we are concerned for their welfare and their whereabouts, we have no evidence of foul play, but have not ruled that out.
The boat has since returned, but the whereabouts of Bernstein and her two boys remain unknown. If you have any information, you're asked to call the local FBI office.
Before we get into the episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor, Ibiana. Imagine solving cryptic clues and immersing yourself in captivating puzzles, all from the comfort of your home. Welcome to Ibiana, a free virtual treasure hunting platform where you can challenge your mind, solve riddles, and compete against others for a chance to win real cash prizes. Best of all, it's absolutely free to play. With Ibiana, you're not solving crimes, you're uncovering hidden riddles, decrypting codes, and using your detective skills to solve the mystery. I've been playing Ibiana and have loved how it blends mystery and puzzles into cash competition. I think it will keep you on your toes and push your detective skills to the limit. Unlock your inner wit today by downloading the Ibiana app and sign up, or get more information at ibiana.com. That's IBIANA.com. Join the hunt today. It's free. So we'll start with Abigail Bernstein. Like we said, her and her two young sons, they reportedly boarded a boat with its captain in October 2022 at the Ala Wai Yacht Harbor on Oahu. in Hawaii, and they haven't been seen or heard from since. And this is according to the FBI. Today, Abigail would be 33 years old, and her sons, Koa Kai, would be 11 years old, and her other son, Kush Kohol, would be 8. So the father of at least one of the boys, we're pretty sure both, is Vander Nelson. He's definitely Kush's father based on online posts, but it does seem like that he's also Koa's dad, because they both, Abigail and Vander, post about the kids online a lot. So he's posting about both kids. Seems like could be the dad of both kids.
So it is kind of interesting. I'll link their Facebooks on the blog. Neither of them have been active or publicly active on them, obviously, Abigail especially, in years, but Vander also. It's just interesting to me that his last public posts were from October 2022, which is also the time that this family went missing. So there's one where the content has disappeared, so we can't see what he actually shared, but he wrote, "I can't live without my boys." And then the last public post, and so that's after the "I can't live without my boys" one, it says, "I'm the type of person, if you don't give AF, say it with your chest. It's those that pretend to care and then show you they don't, that get under my skin. I'm that guy. People want to go against me, but no, I'm on another level, so they keep me close. Talk behind closed doors, but I see these." He's got a snake emoji. So I just found that interesting that they were the last public posts, which were essentially the last time that the family were seen alive as well. That there's no indication that Vander was with them, but the timing is interesting.
And he seems a little disgruntled. So.
Yeah.
So Abigail's been described by law enforcement as someone who lived a nomadic lifestyle off the grid, and her sons didn't attend school. She cut ties with her family and terminated her last known cell phone service in November 2022, which is a month after she disappeared on the boat. So don't know if that means she did it or...
I wonder if it, like, I don't know if this sounds dumb, but like, can they terminate it because of non-payment? I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not really specifying. Well, it's stuff like that where I'm like, okay, can you elaborate a little more? The FBI said that it is possible Abigail was or is trying to hide from someone rather than simply living a nomadic lifestyle. News about the family's disappearance only emerged this year, despite it being years since they've been heard from. When questioned about why it took so long for the case to become public, the FBI said that they had reached a dead end and now needed the public's assistance. So it seems like the FBI was maybe aware of this prior and had been doing their own investigation. Makes me think that maybe they thought she was still alive and hiding, it seems like, and they're just trying to track her down. I don't know.
I haven't seen anything released as to them having any information after they got on this boat in October 2022, which is crazy to me that they waited nearly 2 years to release the information because there's 2 little kids involved. It's not just her who could have maybe taken off and whatever. It's a whole entire family missing. And they've, as far as I can tell, they've had no proof that they are alive. So it's like, I feel like I just can't imagine. Maybe they thought that she was trying to hide and that she was scared and it would scare her off. But it's wild to me that there's these kids involved and they still took 2 years for the public to be notified.
But also, I'm curious about her family too, because I get that she apparently distanced herself from them. But if this was a family member of yours and the FBI wasn't really doing anything, wouldn't you be more vocal about it? Or it seems like there must be more going on that isn't being said, I'm hoping. FBI Honolulu Special Agent in Charge Stephen Merrill said the Coast Guard contacted the FBI in 2023 after witnesses reported seeing the family get onto a boat at the Ala Wai Yacht Harbor. And although the captain was seen returning with the boat, the family didn't return with them.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But just to kind of clarify that, the boat captain went on a really long journey, like a year's long journey. So obviously that's why there was that gap between 2022 and 2023 where he didn't come back and then he was back without them, which is why apparently then the Coast Guard reported them missing, which is also mind-blowing. Like maybe they were watching out for them, but it just seems strange that the Coast Guard reported them missing and not anyone else.
After no activity or updates, the FBI saw the need to increase publicity, especially because 2 minors are involved, and we have an interest in protecting them. 2 years later. FBI agents have interviewed various witnesses, family members, and others, including the boat captain, who said the family got seasick and departed his vessel by unknown means, possibly another vessel, which it says that hasn't been substantiated. It's like, what do you mean? How'd they get off your fucking boat?
Yeah.
Did you drop them off? Did another boat come? Like, what do you mean? So the FBI hasn't disclosed the captain's name, so he hasn't really been publicly identified, but there's a lot of online comments indicating that the boat captain is a man named Donald Lang.
So there was a comment online about this case and in relation to Donald Lang. It says, she met Donald Lang on she being Abigail, she met Donald Lang on a sailboat website for a liveaboard. He introduced her to many divers and people so she felt safe. A picture was taken of them leaving Honolulu but never returned. And this is obviously not confirmed, but this person is saying he refuses to take a polygraph. And then they go on to say, we are asking the public to make Donald Lang do the right thing. It's important we dig deeper and hold the last person with her responsible. So there's many, many comments online. People in the sailing community seem to know that she was last seen apparently with Donald Lang. It's not private. It's just that he hasn't been confirmed as being a suspect by the FBI yet, or named as a suspect anyway.
Yeah. So in March 2023, Donald was reported missing also. In an article from October 2023, it was reported that Donald had been found safe, and he and his boat, a 55-foot sailboat called Ishi, were found in the Hawaiian Islands. On TikTok, he wrote, I love TikTok. He wrote on TikTok, just arrived 348 days nonstop, about 1,600 miles. So it seems like he went on a big trip.
So I know, I feel like it is kind of confusing, but basically the family were last seen getting onto probably Donald's boat in October 2022. He was reported missing early in 2023, and then he returned back and was safe in October 2023, which is that 1 year period when the Coast Guard reported them missing. So after he got back, he was talking about his trip. As Stephanie mentioned, he said 348 days nonstop. And then there was some articles published about his journey online, because the boat isn't very big. Like it would be a marathon,
a lot too on this big journey.
To go 348 days nonstop. So there was lots of comments on articles about him asking about the family, and about how he had apparently been missing, and people were like, what happened? You know, what's going on? So this is a comment from Donald. He said, thanks for the heartfelt concern. I was fine. Everyone knew I packed for a year offshore, and they knew not to worry unless a year's gone by. I love it at sea, and it's where I like to be. So he's kind of seems like a bit of a nomad, a wanderer, lives off the grid. Like literally no one heard from him from a year.
Did he have enough groceries?
Yeah, he did. He's like, I knew how to pack for a year.
Did he just go fishing?
I'm guessing a lot of freeze-dried stuff as well. But that's what I mean. Like it's a massive, massive trip to undertake, to not stop at all. But anyway, but the thing is, basically, when he got home, everyone was like, wow, you're alive. We thought the worst had happened. And he's basically like, nah, I'm too good. Leave me alone.
So on TikTok, he was a little bit more pointed. He said, who's the asshole that reported me missing? Can an old salt get some peace and quiet? It's literally just a big sailboat.
Like I can't even imagine living on there with 2 kids and like 4 people on that boat going around the world for a year. It would be my worst nightmare.
But I don't know if it's just they're not releasing information, but it's like, how long were the kids and her on the boat? Were they only on there for a little bit and he dropped them off somewhere, or what?
And obviously, like as we said, the FBI have been very caged and closed about what they've released, but that comment online indicates that she took a live-in position on the boat, which she indicates to me that she and the boys were planning to live on the boat for a period of time, maybe not the whole time, but an extended period of time. So I don't know. It just seems very,
was it that,
very
or was he just supposed to be bringing her somewhere? That's what I don't get. Was she planning to live on the boat with this random guy, or were they trying to go somewhere else? So these are his own replies to comments that were on an article about this, basically. Just like people questioning, talking shit, basically. One comment, he says, the intent to get out and enjoy the time at sea with nature away from the relentless media noise that has become the norm in American society. I have no schedule, no place I have to be. The route south to the equator, west to New Guinea, parentheses, plenty of rain to keep water topped up, and lots of clams to enjoy drift.
Sorry, calms.
Oh, I thought I was talking about eating clams. And lots of calms to enjoy drifting under 1 billion stars in the night sky. Gale blew me 500 miles east, so I decided to go north to the westerlies, up through the Marshalls, north of the Wake Island, then east to Hawaii. Lots of lots of calms along this route as you run the edge of the high. For people on a schedule, that's frustrating. For me, with no schedule, it's magical, drifting on a glassy sea. This guy's so annoying.
Oh, no.
On a glassy sea under a canopy of stars with the bioluminescence glowing so brightly the tuna and the whales glow as they swim alongside. This guy is someone I'd never want to speak to or meet. Another comment to him said, "What happened to the woman and her kids that went with him?" And someone named Tim Henry said, "Anna, there was no mention of any crew by Lang himself, but no one associated with Ishii appears to be missing." Who fucks Tim Henry?
So these are there's a whole bunch of random comments on this article, and one thing I found particularly interesting is that he replies to the comments about the boat and about the trip, but he never replies to any comments about where are the people that you were last seen with. So I just kind of pulled that one out because I found it interesting that he's on this is all in the same article, all in the same comment section. He clearly has seen the article in the comments, and he hasn't replied to anything about Abigail.
He clearly knows what the people actually want to know about, but he's just busy talking about himself and his superior lifestyle. What a dick. Stephen Merrill said the FBI does not know whether foul play is involved. There'd been no indication of anything wrong at the time. It was thought that they were leaving the state. He also said the boat captain is a person of interest but has not been arrested or charged with any crime. The FBI also interviewed Vander, who's the ex or baby daddy. According to court documents, Abigail was said to be afraid of Vander. Court records show that Abigail filed for and obtained 2 temporary restraining orders against him, and the last petition for a temporary restraining order was filed October 29th, 2019 in Maui. There was no proof of service of the TRO on Vander until 5 months later. Court minutes dated March 16th, 2020 say that petitioner requests to dismiss the petition. She feels safe since he's not on the island. The court will leave the TRO in place until it expires. In the last entry on March 27, 2020, in the minute says the TRO was served March 25th, 2020 on Vander. Neither Abigail or Vander have a serious criminal history. Vander was convicted in 2013 for failure to appear, and this is a petty misdemeanor, which he was fined $100 for. Abigail was cited in 2018 for unauthorized camping on the shoreline in Olawalu, Maui. So, I mean, I don't think Vander would be involved in this, but maybe just more reason for her to want to get away. Stephen said the family had been cooperative with the FBI, but he did not know what caused her to cut ties with her family. Abigail's parents live on Maui, and she also has other connections on Hawaii. She also has other connections on Kauai and Maui. She has other family members living on the mainland, with ties to California, Naples, Florida, Petoskey, Michigan, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Abigail's 6'2". She also goes by the names Abby, Avi, Abigail. Like, these are different spellings.
Yeah.
And Ovi.
I do find it interesting that the FBI have kind of listed places where her family live, even though she is said to be estranged from her family. I guess maybe they are thinking that she might show up in one of those places if she does decide she needs help or wants to kind of integrate back into society or get back with her family.
Mm-hmm.
I also find it interesting that she's 6'2", which is quite a height for a woman.
Yeah, right.
And there's been a lot of comments about how she is very distinctive looking, and her height especially makes her distinctive. So it would be kind of hard for her to blend in. Do you know what I mean? Like, just randomly. Like, she's someone who you would remember because she's a little bit outside of the norm for a woman.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what I think about this case. I guess the main theories are that something happened on the boat. Like, you know, it would be easy enough for Donald to throw them overboard and for them never, ever, ever to be found. The other theory, I guess, is that Abigail has purposefully gone off the grid. I guess then the third theory is that something else has happened to them, maybe in relation to Vander or someone else. I really can't tell with this one. Like, Donald seems super shady to me, but he also seems kind of harmless.
He just kind of also seems like a pretentious asshole.
Yeah, like he just seems like he just lives his own life. I guess, do you know what, like maybe something did happen and they were cramping his style and he decided to get rid of them. I feel like I am leaning maybe a bit more towards his, like, this isn't working, get off the boat and drop them somewhere random and they're just off the grid, maybe. But yeah. I do find it, I can't believe that if that is the case, the FBI haven't been able to track them down at all. I guess they could be in some commune somewhere or, like, you know, living a sustainable lifestyle where they actually don't need to be involved with many people.
Yeah, I could see either. Like, I don't know, it's just very strange the way, I don't know, necessarily not the way the FBI's handle it is strange, but the way that information has come out makes it seem very strange. Um, Very mysterious.
Even for the FBI to come out and say, we don't know why she cut off ties with her family. So either the family don't know or they aren't telling. So I don't know. It's just like there's a whole bunch of questions I have that we don't have the answers to. But I do feel for the FBI to be involved, there must be significant concern, I guess, especially for the boys. But it's a lot for the FBI to get involved. And I guess to international waters and things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's in charge of the ocean?
Yeah. It all came out that they were missing around July this year. So I'm just double checking now. There hasn't really been any updates. Just, even the FBI haven't really released anything further. They are on the FBI website. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it is a real mystery, I guess, just because of the lack of footprint that they've left. Like they were seen getting on a boat. That's it. We don't know. Like he hasn't even really said where the boat went. I know he said they went to New Guinea and he gave his, flowery little description, but there was no kind
were
of
they there?
Mapped course. And how convenient that for 348 days he didn't need to stop. So they, like according to him anyway, it's a wild, crazy story. Maybe the boat is just kind of a red herring and they were on the boat for a day and then got off and went somewhere else. I don't know. Or did something happen to them while they're on this massive worldwide cruise?
Yeah.
All right. So the second case we'll talk about that today is the case of missing British woman Sarm Heslop.
And it's Andrea Canning from Dateline.
Our 911 dispatch got a call at approximately 2:35 a.m.
There's a woman reported missing in Frank Bay.
He simply said maybe she could have fallen off the boat.
He calls Coast Guard Search and Area Coordination Center.
Like, where could she be?
I'm honestly not sure.
We have looked high and low.
It is almost like a vanishing act.
You have three possible scenarios. She willingly disappeared, there was a tragic accident, or there was a crime.
Absolutely. Those are the options.
Do you have any hope that Sarm is still alive?
I try to.
I think the fact that no body was found is very suspicious.
I mean, you put a body down to 12,000 feet and wrap it up in some anchor chain and no, it's not going to float back up.
This boat could be the key to this mystery.
I want to know what he thinks happened.
Can we talk to you?
She went missing from a catamaran in the US Virgin Islands in March 2021. She was reported missing by her boyfriend, so not suspicious at all. As some background, Sarm was born on 19th of December 1979 to her parents Brenda Street and Peter Heslop, and she was from Southampton in England. Sarm worked as a flight attendant for the airline Flybe, and then she was then hired as a chef to work on day charters around the Caribbean. She was said to have been very experienced on the water and sailing and boats and had previously sailed across the Atlantic. Sarm's boyfriend at the time was Ryan Bane. Ryan was an American. He was from Michigan and he had moved to the US Virgin Islands. Ryan owned a 47-foot-long catamaran named Siren Song, and he chartered the boat out for $2,000 per day. The couple allegedly met on Tinder in 2020, so they'd been together for maybe a year or 18 months at the time that she vanished. Ryan had been married before. His ex-wife, Corey Stevenson, has alleged that Ryan was abusive to her. According to Oxygen, there was an incident in November 2011. The couple had been driving home from a wedding. Corey was driving and Ryan had been drinking. She said that he fell asleep. She needed directions to get home, so she tried to wake him up. Ryan was then angry when he woke up and he used abusive language towards her and began kicking at the dashboard, radio and gear shift of the vehicle. Corey said that after they got home, Ryan dragged her out of the truck. After they went inside, he grabbed her in the dining room, threw her to the ground, smashed her head on the floor and chipped one of her teeth. She fought him off and was able to escape to the laundry room where she called 911. Deputies arrived at the house and they found her right earlobe was bloody and scratched. She had red scratches along her shoulder and neck and a scratched right eyelid. The shirt of her collar had also been the shirt of her collar. Wouldn't it be collar of her shirt? Maybe I fucked up. Yeah. The collar of her shirt had also been stretched and torn. The deputy wrote in a report, she states that Ryan has been becoming increasingly verbally abusive towards her and that he has been physically abusive one time previously. So Ryan told authorities a different story. He said that Corey had been the one to drag him out of the car. He claimed that once inside the house, she yelled at him, threw objects at him in the kitchen and attacked him. However, authorities noted that the evidence discovered did not really support his story. So, I feel like it seems like Corey was the most believable one in this scenario, and it seems like all their evidence pointed towards her story being correct.
They always like to say that the victim started it and they were just defending themselves, but doesn't always seem to be the case.
So in terms of what is confirmed in Sarm's case, we know that she and Ryan went to dinner on the island of St. John on the 7th of March 2021, which was a Sunday. They went to a venue called 420 Facenta. Sarm had been seen by another couple on the boat earlier that day, so we know that she was likely alive at least on the 7th of March. She and Ryan had been spotted on the Siren Song, and the other couple said that all appeared calm, like they weren't fighting. They were just on board the boat going about their business. So 2021 was obviously peak COVID time and the island was under a COVID curfew. Due to this, Sarm and Ryan should have left the restaurant by 10 p.m. that night and gone back to their boat. The Siren Song was moored in Cruise Bay, which was around 200 feet or 61 meters from the shore. So they would have had to have taken a dinghy to get back to the catamaran. Ryan would later tell police that Sarm was asleep by 10 p.m. on March 7th. He said that at 2:30 a.m. on March 8th, she had disappeared. He apparently woke up at this time as the anchor alarm had gone off on the boat. So when he woke up to check that, he found that she wasn't there. It's kind of hard to find a confirmed timeline for this. We know that at 2:30 was when the anchor alarm went off. At some point after this, Ryan took the dinghy back to the island to report that Sarm was missing. I don't know if this happened. I feel like it did happen quite soon after that, but the police advised him to call the Coast Guard, which Ryan did not do until 11:45 a.m. So by that point, we know that Sarm had been gone for at least 9 hours, according to Ryan's story. Sarm's friend Andrew Baldwin spoke to the BBC and he kind of confirmed the timeline slightly and said that the call to police was made by Ryan at 2:30 a.m. He said at 2:30 there was a call made to the police by Ryan Bane to suggest or say that Sarm had fallen overboard and that the police at that point advised for the Coast Guard to be called. The call to the Coast Guard then took a further 9 hours. What happened in the intervening hours? Sarm's father would later say, "It just drives me nuts." He said, "What happened between 2 and 11:45 in the morning? He didn't shout and holler. He didn't ask for nobody. He just made the call to the police. There's just no answers." So all of Sarm's belongings, including her phone, her passport and credit cards, had been left on the boat. She appeared to have had nothing on her when she disappeared. So basically everything that she had was still on the boat. According to the BBC, Ryan's boat was also never searched in relation to the disappearance. He has apparently also never been questioned by police. When Ryan did eventually call the Coast Guard, they did board the boat so that he could make the missing person report, but no search was carried out at that time. And then it's been said that Ryan refused to allow authorities onto the boat after that at the advice of his attorney. Local police did apparently issue him citations for not allowing them on the boat, as well as for not having registration papers and also for safety equipment violations. All of these citations were for civil matters. So that is specified because it basically doesn't have anything to do with the criminal aspect of the case. They're all civil matters, just, kind of administrative things that he didn't do.
Yeah.
Toby Derrimer, who's a spokesman for the Virgin Islands Police, said that at the time authorities were doing everything they could to investigate Sarm's disappearance and that they were also trying to get access to the boat. Toby, the spokesman, said, "We are doing everything we can to get on the boat. We have to have an actual reason. Just him being the last person to see Sarm isn't considered enough probable cause. Detectives know what they need to have probable cause. The court isn't going to give them the warrant that they need." So despite the police saying they haven't been able to get on the boat, basically they have no legal reason to, Ryan's attorney did tell the media that the boat had been searched. David Caddy told Fox News that Ryan travelled to meet with the Virgin Islands Police to give them a statement the morning after she disappeared, and that multiple Coast Guard officers boarded the boat and, quote, conducted a search of the vessel for Ms. Heslop later that morning. So we know that the Coast Guard got on the boat. They're saying they didn't search. The attorney is saying they did. The attorney also said, Ryan's thoughts are with Sarm and her family at this time, and he's praying for her safe return. Interestingly, David Caddy, the attorney, also represented Ghislaine Maxwell. So police searched the coastline with dogs, divers, and drones. They found no trace of Sarm. 9 days after she vanished, a local came forward to say that they had heard a scream out at sea around the time that she was last thought to have been alive. It's kind of a bit ambiguous because the local was on the shore. They apparently heard a scream, maybe around the time that Sarm vanished. No real information though.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI joined the search for Sarm 2 weeks after she vanished. One of the theories was that she may have come to harm while she was going for a swim. A friend of hers said, though, that Sarm was a level-headed and a strong swimmer, adding that she couldn't understand why she would get out of bed to go for a swim between the hours of 10:30 and 1 o'clock in the morning. I know she wouldn't. Another friend said she's one of the most organised people that I know. This is someone who sailed across the Atlantic without incident, only to disappear 100 feet from the shore. The pieces in the puzzle don't add up. Sarm went missing in March. In November 2021, Ryan put the boat up for sale for $229,000. He removed the name of Siren Song from the boat before trying to sell it. An unnamed source spoke to the media at the time and said no one buying this boat would realise its significance or that it could be a major piece of evidence in the police investigation.
It says in the URL, though.
Yeah, true. It says it feels like Sarm is being airbrushed from history. It's very frustrating. We all feel useless and have no idea what to do next. So according to the ad at the time, the boat was put up for sale due to the owner having, quote, moved onto land. So there is no confirmed information about the boat being sold, but according to the New York Post in March 2024, quote, it is believed to have been sold, which I still have a bunch of questions. If it's been sold, why don't they try and track down who bought it and search it now?
Yeah,
but
it seems like no one just fucking cares.
It reminds me a little bit of the Taylor Casey case in the Bahamas where she's gone missing and basically nothing happens because like in this case, it's a British citizen. It's,
Yeah, everyone's very like, oh, not our problem.
Yeah. So Corey, Ryan's ex-wife, spoke to the media after Sarm vanished. She said that she and Ryan had been married in 2008 and that his demeanour towards her changed immediately after their wedding. She said she even cut their honeymoon short because she feared for her safety. And she also confirmed that she divorced him in 2014. So still quite a while before he met Sarm, but, he obviously has at least a documented history of violence towards his partner or women.
Yeah.
In November 2022, Sarm's family said that the Virgin Islands Police Department showed them CCTV footage of Ryan and Sarm in the restaurant or the bar the night that she went missing. The family have said that the police stopped the footage before it ended and refused to show them the rest. Police said that this was in case the rest of the video could be prejudicial to a future court case. So they're kind of giving them tidbits, the things they want them to see. I can't even imagine, or I don't even know what would be on the rest of the video that they wouldn't show them.
Like them arguing? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Because maybe if he didn't actually do anything, seeing them arguing wouldn't be good.
I guess also they're going to say
then what's the point in showing them?
Yeah, I guess they're just trying to placate them maybe, like just be like, yep, here's the footage. But then what her family also do go on to say, which I guess could lead into why they stopped the footage, is that the clothing that Sarm was wearing is not what witnesses have described her as being seen in. Witnesses have said that she was wearing a black dress with flowers on it, but in the footage she was either wearing a top and either a skirt or shorts. The dress with the flowers was not amongst belongings that would eventually be returned to Sarm's family. So I guess the insinuation of this is that maybe the footage was from another night, which is why they stop it, because there's something that shows it's not the night that she went missing. It does seem interesting that they got other belongings back, but not the dress that the witnesses had said that she was wearing, but that is not what was in the footage that the family showed. It's just very, very messy and convoluted and probably not the whole truth either from the authorities there.
Yeah.
Some articles have also reported that there is no CCTV or limited CCTV available from the venue that night due to a power outage. So that seems very convenient.
Of course.
Yeah, always the way. So they were shown some footage, maybe not the whole footage, maybe because it doesn't exist because of the power outage, maybe because their things are being hidden from them. It's just a big mess. Over the years, there have been articles about Sarm's disappearance, and her family have tried to keep her case in the media. There's a New York Post article from March 2024, which indicates that Ryan replaced the freezer in the boat after Sarm's disappearance. David Johnson, who is a former homicide squad commander and hostage negotiator, is apparently working with Sarm's family pro bono. He said, we know he went to Grenada afterwards and had the freezer replaced on the boat. Why? We know he had other parts of the fore cabin replaced. Why? David also said that Sarm is likely dead and her death was untimely and it could have been a murder, but it could have been an accident, but no one will speak to us. He also said that he first offered his assistance to Sarm's parents around 18 months ago. So this was early 2024, 18 months prior to that. And he tried to engage the Virgin Islands Police Commissioner, Ray Martinez, but he was unable to get results and said they'd stopped responding to the family, they being the authorities in the Virgin Islands. And they also didn't make any response to David's attempts to make contact. He said, I've been spun along for the last 15 months by the governor and Ray Martinez, who said, you're welcome to come and look, but we're not going to talk about the inquiry. It's an active investigation and we don't discuss active investigations.
Because they're not doing anything.
Yeah. David replied and said, well, what are you doing actually? And they said, we can discuss that. There's been nothing done actively. So, David said, at the very minimum, Ryan should have been interviewed under caution, which is the British version of a Miranda warning. He goes on to say, who knows what happened on that boat, but from my experience of 30 years of being a cop, he is a person of significant interest and he has some questions to answer. And until he does that, he should remain as the most likely suspect in her disappearance and possible death. So in some news that seems to have made the family happy and maybe given them a little bit more hope, Police Commissioner Ray Martinez resigned from his position. Local reports said that he was being investigated over a misuse of funds relating to a security contract awarded to his force.
Oh, so he's a little preoccupied, it seems.
Yeah, with corruption, money, like it's always the case in these kind of places. Money talks and especially when it comes to foreign people, they don't want to impact the tourism. They like to keep things under wraps. Absolutely, I could see that money would talk in this situation. Richard Motto, who's a Government House Communications Director, said the administration has been informed that Ray Martinez is implicated in an ongoing federal investigation. According to our zero tolerance policy against corruption, the governor has accepted his resignation to ensure the integrity of our law enforcement efforts. So Brenda, who's Sarm's mother, spoke to The Independent about corruption in the area. She said, I think corruption on the island has affected the case. There are too many things that don't make sense and don't add up. When we went to the island, people wouldn't speak to us about Sarm, and on posters asking for information, someone had gone around and scrubbed out the number to call. She said, I know it could be to do with protecting tourism, but listen, my beautiful daughter has gone missing and I don't give a shit about how it affects tourism. It's just very, very similar to the Taylor Casey case. Is that name? Taylor Casey.
Yeah.
Very similar to the Taylor Casey case now that we've discussed it and gone through it. Like cover up non-citizens. She was American. Sarm was British. They've got no interest in finding these people or figuring out what happened because essentially it's harmful to their reputation.
It's also dumb though because it seems like Ryan is the most likely suspect, and if he did something to her, it's not like saying it's an unsafe area, that it's like a domestic violence situation, so it wouldn't even affect their tourism. But I guess something else could have happened to her, but it's like, grow up.
After all this, Ryan has moved back to the US. He's moved back to Michigan. He's apparently training to become a pilot. He's a very multi-skilled person. Boat captain, pilot. In 2024, though, Ryan was confronted at a gym in Michigan. It's quite funny because they've put the photos online, but a man began taking photos of him and asked if he'd killed anyone lately.
It's at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it is. It's got PF in the background.
Yeah, they all look the same.
So it's mind-blowing that he still hasn't been questioned. They can't question him, apparently, that if he did have something to do with Sarm's death or disappearance, that he's just walking out there a free man, living his dreams, becoming a pilot. Horrible.
Yeah, it's crazy. Apparently, if you murder someone and you just get out of the country fast enough, you're probably good.
I guess in terms of theories in the case, I feel like the most likely theory is that Ryan knows more. Maybe they had a fight and she accidentally died. It seems like he has an issue with anger and rage based on what his ex-wife has said. So I could see it being a scenario like that where maybe he pushed her and she hit her head. Maybe, I don't know, I still don't understand how he could have disposed of her body so quickly. But then I guess if they didn't get on the boat and search her, he could have kept her there for a while and then eventually got her off. I just feel like
Maybe they dumped her in the water.
But yeah, I think the investigation meant that he probably was on the boat in that harbour area, or the dock area, for a few days at least. But I guess he could have disposed of it later by just going out to sea and getting rid of the body.
It's interesting that he got rid of the freezer.
So maybe he.
Because it doesn't seem like they searched it that hard. Or he could have taken the dinghy further out or something. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess.
And it doesn't seem like they did a water search really either. Or anything.
Well, they said they used the drones and well, they did use divers, but drones and dogs on the coastline and things like that. So yeah, it absolutely does not seem like they did a thorough search for her body, especially considering it involves the ocean, which is so vast.
Yeah.
And I guess the other theories, which I don't really think are likely, is that she did go for a swim and she drowned. I feel like I agree with her friends that she knew better than that.
Why was she on the water at night?
Yeah. And she was very experienced on the water. I just feel like it's not something that she likely would have done. I guess the other theory is that she left of her own accord. Again, I just feel like very, very unlikely. I feel like the main likelihood is that Ryan knows more. Either it was an accident that he's covering up, or he intentionally murdered her and he's also covering it up.
Yeah, between the 9 hours or whatever it took for him to get a move on and tell someone that she was missing, and replacing different parts of the boat in the freezer, and he doesn't really seem too concerned about where she is either. I just think it really seems like he did something or knows something.
I wonder if the scenario kind of went down, because it does seem like if I don't even know why I believe him at all, but if parts of his story are true and the alarm went off at 2:30, maybe but then what? I don't understand why he went and told the police but then didn't tell the Coast Guard. Like, why tell anyone if you're not going to do anything? So maybe he went in a panic and he's like, shit, I need to pretend that something happened. But then that extra 9 hours gave him the time to calm down, think more about what he could actually do to preserve himself. Like, does that make sense? I feel like he maybe told the police in a panic, but then when he calmed down for a minute, he decided not to call the Coast Guard while he got all his ducks in a row.
Yeah, probably. But I was just going to say something I forgot. Oh, I was going to say, like, if I was on a boat and the person I was on the boat with was someone that I loved and cared about, and they were missing at 2:30 in the morning, I'd fucking freak the fuck out. If it was something where they were genuinely missing, I'd be going crazy. I'd be trying to get someone to help me right away, being like, where are they? Especially when I'm assuming there's only one dinghy for the boat. If that's still there, then where'd she go?
Yeah.
Did she drown? If it was someone he really cared about, he would have put in way more effort.
I agree. Just too many shady things. I am very, very convinced that Ryan knows more.
And it sucks that the police and everything don't seem to be doing shit. Like, I feel horrible for her family, just feeling helpless. Like, no one gives a fuck. No one's doing anything. So hopefully with the new, police commissioner or something, maybe
they'll
more will
reinvigorate the case.
Because it's just gross.
When I think about it too, like, we've covered a few cases like Nancy Ng, Patricia Murad in Japan, and in every single case, I guess the common denominator is that the families find it so hard to get help when the loved one goes missing overseas, either due to language barrier, the cost for the family to go and search there and live there and do things that the authorities aren't doing. It's just adds that extra layer of difficulty to trying to find your loved one when it happens overseas.
Yeah, while still trying to maintain your job, paying your bills, and just carrying on with your life at home while still being like, oh, I need to go to Japan or wherever to try to look for my missing loved one because no one's doing anything, but they still need money. So it's like, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah,
it's very sad.
I also find too, I know this is just kind of like a general thing, but the idea of being missing at sea is so terrifying.
Scary.
It would be such a terrifying way to die. We know that some, I'm not saying that this is what happened, but if you're out at sea for days and days and days, and I just think it would be the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, that's why I hate the ocean. I like going to the beach and I'll go into the water a little bit. I've said this before. I'll go up to maybe my waist, but the open water ocean is so scary to me. That's like a nightmare.
There's even a Netflix movie out. I can't know, I'll look it up, but it's basically where a woman is floating out at sea on a container, like the container ship sank or something, and she's on this container. I'm like, that is my worst nightmare. I'd rather die. I
Yeah,
think.
no, thank you. Definitely. But it's also like, how, just aside from that, it's like, how do you kill yourself then? You're just stranded at sea with nothing. Drown yourself? That sounds horrible too. All right, well, that's it for this episode. We'll keep an eye out for any updates. We'll post them on our Instagram or anything. If you want to learn more about these cases, we'll have a blog at truecrimesocietyblog.com. Like I just said, our Instagram is at True Crime Society on Instagram. If you want to follow our personal accounts, mine is StephSum_, Olivia's TCS Olivia. We're also on Patreon now, so if you want to listen to any of the episodes ad-free, you can do that on Patreon. We also do a weekly bonus episode, so you'd be getting 2 episodes a week. And we release the regular episodes a day sooner, so you get early access as well, plus some fun chats on Patreon and all that. So you could check us out over there. What else do I say? My brain's fucking toast. You could share the podcast with your friends or on your Instagram stories. That's a big help to us when you guys do that. Help get the word out. Otherwise, just leave us some nice reviews, nice comments. We love to see some nice stuff online about us. No mean stuff, please. Yeah, so we've officially been recording for 3 hours. I'm toast. I'm ready for bed. So thank you guys for listening and stay safe out there. Peace out.
See ya.